Hello, I'm Bakhtiar Sonova and welcome to Africa News. Here are the top stories. Mali's Defense Minister General Sadio Camara has been killed in coordinated attacks across the country. China is set to introduce zero tariffs on exports from several African countries. And Sudan's war is driving millions into poverty, with families forced to survive on animal fodder. Turning to West Africa, a two-day period of national mourning has been declared across Mali following the death of the country's defense minister, Sadio Camara. It follows a wave of insurgent attacks across the nation.
Mali's defense minister Sadio Camara has been killed in an apparent suicide bombing at his residence near the capital, Bamako, on Saturday. A car laden with explosives driven by a suicide attacker rammed Camara's home, triggering a firefight in which he was wounded. He later died in hospital. The killing comes amid a surge in violence by jihadist and rebel groups, raising fresh concerns over security in the West African nation. Officials have condemned the attack as cowardly, and a period of national mourning has been declared.
A
two-day national mourning period starting from Monday, the 27th of April at midnight, is declared throughout the national territory in tribute to General Sadio Camara, Minister of State, Minister of Defence and Veterans Affairs, following his tragic death on Saturday, 25th April 2026. Flags shall be flown at half-mast on all public buildings and institutions.
Authorities say the attack also destroyed a nearby mosque, killing some worshippers inside. Attacks continued on Sunday as an al-Qaeda affiliate and Tuareg rebels carried out simultaneous assaults in more than half a dozen locations across the country. Residents across West Africa, including in Ghana, have expressed concern over the incident.
Honestly speaking, I'm so sad because I was told about those news last year. As I'm not living in Mali right now, but I was told, so it's a sad novel. All of my country, we are in mourning right now, so it's not easy. So I will just pray God so that his soul rests in peace.
The coming of the military is to stop some of these killings. That is why they are there, and that is why I think that is one of the major reasons they took over power. I'm surprised. I'm still surprised that this type of thing is still happening. They are supposed to take all the places that has been occupied by these terrorists.
The United Nations has called for an international response to violence and terrorism in the West Africa Sahel region following the large-scale assaults. The attack underscores the persistent threat facing the military-led government of Assimi Goïta, which has struggled to contain insurgent violence despite intensified operations.
Starting on May the 1st, African countries with ties to China will benefit from a zero-tariff deal on exports to the country. This comes as Africa's largest trading partner looks to become more competitive, while suppliers from other regions.
53 African countries are set to receive zero-tariff treatment on exports to China. The policy, due to take effect on the 1st of May, was first outlined in 2024 by Chinese President Xi Jinping during a summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Beijing. Officials have welcomed the move, describing it as a win for both sides.
That is significant because it's going to be a win-win partnership for Africa. I think it's a very important opportunity for Africa. China is the biggest market in the world, very lucrative market, very vibrant, and to be able to access that market, I think is going to be extremely important for our industrialization in Africa, for our modernization efforts, but also for us to improve efficiency efficiency and effectiveness in our business models and production systems. But also for China, this will be also mutually beneficial.
At a time when global trade is under strain, the move positions Africa more firmly within one of the world's largest consumer markets, where demand continues to grow. China remains Africa's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade reaching approximately $348 billion in 2025. Officials say they hope the zero tariff policy will be sustained.
For us, cashew nuts are our main product. Guinea-Bissau produces over 250,000 tons annually, and we export our cashews to Vietnam and India. So, I'm sure that with zero tariffs, Guinea-Bissau will benefit from exporting cashew nuts to China. And we also have imported a lot of Chinese goods to Guinea-Bissau. So, it will facilitate trade between the two countries, and I hope this policy will continue for Africa and contribute to the development of both sides.
One of the highlights of the deal is that it will cover processed and value-added goods. For decades, Africa's role in global trade was shaped by the export of raw materials. The new policy will help incentivize local processing, making a wider range of goods more commercially viable in the Chinese market.
The conflict in Sudan has entered its fourth year, pushing millions into extreme poverty and humanitarian crisis. The fighting, which erupted in April 2023, has devastated the economy and left families struggling to find basic necessities. Our report highlights the grim reality on the ground.
In Sudan, millions are facing an unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe. Fighting between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces has driven the nation's poverty rate from 38% before the war to an estimated 70% today. According to the UNDP, nearly 7 million Sudanese were pushed into extreme poverty in 2023 alone. Displaced families like Salah Musa in North Darfur's Tawila camp struggle daily.
Since we arrived in Tawila a month ago, we've been suffering from a severe lack of services, except for water, which we draw from wells. We have no other services here, and we desperately need assistance. Our children aren't receiving an education, and I'm a nurse, but I can't find work.
Salah's struggles are echoed by many as essential services remain absent. Inflation and scarcity have forced families to rely on unconventional foods. Corn flour, once a staple, has disappeared from local markets or become unaffordable, leading some to resort to animal fodder.
Life is incredibly difficult for us poor people. If we don't have money, what are we supposed to do? Will we starve to death? After the price of corn flour became so high, we stopped buying it. Flour has completely disappeared from the markets here. After that, flour became expensive and unavailable.
The United Nations Development Programme warns Sudan's economy has collapsed, leaving over 13 million people displaced. Extreme poverty rates now surpass those of the 1980s.
Large celebrations have been held in Eswatini's capital, Mbabane, to mark 4 decades of King Mswati III's rule. The monarch used the occasion to appeal for unity as discussions around social and economic challenges in the country continue.
King Mswati III of Eswatini has marked 40 years on the throne with a major celebration held in Mbabane on Friday. Regional leaders, diplomats and thousands of supporters were in attendance. The event included military displays, cultural performances and public festivities honouring the monarch. During his address, King Mswati III called for unity.
Even when we don't see eye to eye, but what is important as Swati people is we remain together and be united and work for Eswatini nation so it can prosper.
Supporters at the event praised the King's rule and development initiatives.
He has changed a lot. As we speak, children receive free primary education. The elderly are now receiving grants. But there's a lot that the King has done for us since he took the throne.
When King Mswati came in, the standard of living was very low, but now it's very high.
The celebrations come amid continued criticism over inequality and poverty in the country. a significant portion of the population lives on a low income. Critics have raised concerns about the cost of the monarchy and ongoing socio-economic challenges citizens are facing.
A Kenyan runner has finished the London Marathon in under 2 hours, the first time that has ever happened. It's a milestone long seen as the ultimate limit of human endurance over the distance.
Kenya's Sebastian Sawe has made history. He's the first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours in an official race, winning the London Marathon in 1 hour, 59 minutes and 30 seconds. The long-awaited milestone was reached after years of attempts, near misses and scientific advances aimed at breaking the barrier. Saw's time surpasses the previous world record of 2 hours and 35 seconds, set by the late Kelvin Kiptum in 2023.
For me, I think I've made history today in London, and for the generation, they have knew now to run a record is possible, not hard. It's depending with the preparation you had and passion you had and the discipline you had. So for me, I think I've shown them nothing is not possible, everything is possible.
The race came amid concern over doping in long-distance running and record-winning performances. Sawe had undergone multiple drug tests in the lead-up to the event. His result also had an impact on the German sportswear company, Adidas. Company shares Adidas rose after the marathon. Sawe was wearing the brand's latest racing shoes during his record-breaking run.
Egypt and Liverpool star Mohamed Salah will miss the rest of the Premier League season due to a hamstring injury. Egypt's national team director Ibrahim Hassan confirmed that Salah requires 4 weeks of treatment after sustaining the injury during Saturday's 3-1 win over Crystal Palace. The 33-year-old Egyptian winner, who has already announced his departure from Liverpool at the end of the season, will now bid farewell to fans with words, not goals. Hassan added that Salah, who is Liverpool's third highest goal scorer, is expected to be fit for the 2026 World Cup. That's all we have today on Africa News. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to A News for all the latest updates.